Hello, everyone, and welcome to On the Couch, the podcast where we bring you intimate, thought-provoking conversations with fascinating individuals from all corners of life. I'm your host, Dr. Diamond, along with my co-hosts, and each episode will dive deep into the minds and hearts of our guests, uncovering the experiences and stories that shape their lives. From heartfelt personal journeys to groundbreaking ideas, On the Couch offers a unique space to explore it all. So, sit back, relax, and join us for a journey of discovery, connection, and inspiration. Welcome to the couch, and let's go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the couch. Here we are, 4/5. It's April 5th, rainy day, but we are now in spring. I am so happy that it's springtime because it's bringing us closer to the summertime. Welcome again to On the Couch. Today is going to be very exciting. We have an author here with us today, Anakia Keeton. She is going to share her book with us today. We're very excited to hear about God's grace in the shadow of love. So we are interested in hearing her journey, her story, how she got to this place where she ended up writing a book about her life. But before we do that, we're going to kick it in gear with Miss Toya and Mark and Keith. They're all is going to be on today. So let me go ahead and bring in Miss Toya, and Mark and Keith will be on shortly. So Miss Toya, how you doing today? And what's been going on with you in the last 2 weeks?
Well, I've pretty much life has been lifing. I just successfully finished a Medicaid audit. So that was my primary thing that I had to do the past weeks. I had to really work hard. But the blessing is, as God brings you to it, he'll bring you through it, as I like to say. And now I'm just excited because this platform is really going to higher heights. And I know sometimes, folks want to see the pudding first before they eat it. But I just know that on the couch, you don't know what you're going to do from week to week. And I'm excited. So to our viewers, welcome. And we're going to get Mark up in this room.
Yep. So Mark and Keith should be joining us shortly. But in the meantime, while we are waiting on them, we're going to keep doing what we do best. And that's talking and sitting on this couch. It's a lot going on. As we can see, our government, we have all this tariffs going on with, I don't call him president. I'm sorry, I can't do it. It hurts me to even form my lips to say that. But yes, the effects that it's going to have on us in the long term, you and I work with people when it comes down to mental health. I am concerned about people's mental health and how that is going to affect them moving forward because of what this is presenting. You know what I mean? Yes. Like people are going to be homeless. People are going to be dealing with a lot. And the thing is, what do we do from here? Because mentally, how are they going to be able to handle what is going to be presented to them? And that's my concern for those that are going to be suffering soon, because they are.
Most definitely. I think there was a little bit of a lag because I work in the residential side right now as a quality assurance director. And basically, we were sending out notifications to the staff for the state of New Jersey so that they won't cut our funding. Folks don't realize it's quiet now, but we house over 300 consumers. So you have to think, what if they cut these vouchers? Where are they going? The mental health hospitals closed. So now there would be an influx. We were just discussing with the people who were looking at our payments yesterday, because what we get per day to keep these folks. Basically, what we do at Project Live, we provide housing. Some of the places is only $150 in rent and $150 for food. We absorb that. So now these folks will be forced to go into a boarding home. And as you know, when you go into a boarding home, because there are some folks who don't follow our rules and, they're not safe, they have to go there and they take all of their check and they might get a balance of $50. Similar to when you go to the nursing home. If a person does not have resources, what the nursing home does, they take their Social Security check and they'll give them a little stipend, which can range from 40 to 60. I know when my aunt was there, it was hard. So these are the things that we don't talk about. So then what happens is an influx of addiction. There could be some violent acts because now they're feeling though that I need to take what I need. They're taking my money. And that's what happens that we deal with. So I'm glad that you spoke about that, Dr. Diamond, because this is the world that the funding of the mental health system has been able to maintain that. You know, we have folks that are homeless, and a lot of time they are people who are not from this country. So now we have to take care of our people. I saw down in Georgia that T.I. and his wife are actually building housing. So that's what we need to do, because otherwise we're going to have an influx and the world is going to look very different. It's going to be like it used to be before.
Mark? Yeah. What do you say to that, Mark, about the changes that's happening?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a changing world, and definitely a lot of folks are having their aids and things cut. As a matter of fact, we just had an event here yesterday, not at this particular venue, but at a church just down the road where they're looking at a big development. Actually, it's a big development coming from Chicago that's going to be building this big complex and all along those lines. So it's another example of gentrification. So there were people in the neighborhood that were meeting to say no to it and everything like that. So they definitely didn't want to have it happen in their neighborhood with this big high rise. I think they're saying like 1 million kind of like feet or something like that, but it's a big building. I forgot what it's all, 1 million acres, not acres, but definitely a large space that they will be having and all in that space. And a lot of people are concerned because already this neighborhood, which was one of the Black Wall Streets, had been destroyed by the highway. And this could be another example of what little remaining being gentrified and all along those lines. But I was actually just talking to a friend of mine before jumping on the show and everything like that. And they were concerned. And I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts about it, because a lot of times we have people that reflect. You know, yesterday was the anniversary of Dr. King's death and everything, and they reflect, and there's still a few people that lived and marched with him and everything like that. So it's good to hear their reflections, but sometimes, as my friend was saying, the reflections are, we get too caught up in the reflections and not enough in the actions of today. And there are some things that are happening today that we've got to be aware of and that we've got to fight for as well. So we can, and you know, I'm a historian here, so we can definitely reflect on the history, but we've also got to deal with the modern day situations and the fight in today while learning the lessons from the past, because you know there is that old saying that if you don't learn from the past, you are doomed to repeat it and everything like that. But I'd love to hear your ladies' take on that, because it might be different in the Jersey area and even in New York and other places. But do you sometimes feel that people get too caught up in the nostalgia and not enough in the modern day activities that are at our feet and that we're being threatened with daily?
Well, we all know that that was a tragedy some years ago, and everything that he built for us as far as us understanding what we can do. I have a dream speech. I was a Martin Luther King player, and that was something that we closed out our performance yearly. But I feel that the culture of us is getting shrunk. So I just hope that, you know, we continue to do different platforms and different events. I know for the Prince Hall family, they're doing a Black college tour. So those are the things that we're kind of doing now to make sure that the kids can get out to go to historically Black colleges to see if they want to attend. And that was something that mirrored the group that I was with. So I know in the South, it just feels, it seems to me that you guys stay abreast, like our first guest with the Black Hoodie Brigade. So we are a little bit, we're slowing down in the North. Would you say that, Dr. Nyman, that we're slowing down? We don't really have as much as what Mark is explaining and what we heard a few weeks ago, well, last month.
Yeah, I do agree that we need to do more when it comes to, I feel like Black history is no longer what it was. We don't have the same type of commercialing that other races have. I feel that they're taken away. First of all, they never gave us the opportunity to show our history to begin with. It's the hiding of the history, but I'm starting to see little things here and there on Facebook. A lot of our history is truly coming out now, and there's no way of trying to change it because people are starting to wake up. But as far as Martin Luther King and all the stuff that they used to do on commercials for us and preppers for the whole month, so-called month that we have, it's lacking. So
Yes.
Keith, we haven't seen you in a little bit. Welcome to the couch again. Now, how are you?
Pretty good. I want to apologize. I had a couple appointments this morning. With some sessions as I shared. But yeah, I am still trying to get locked in with StreamYard right now. I'm switching over to my computer if you allow me to.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Just certainly wanted to apologize for my lateness. Here we go. I apologize. But all is well over here with me. Here we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Good. I'm glad to see you back. And I know, hey, life is lifing. So we all got to do what we got to do.
Yes,
he'll
definitely.
be back shortly.
And pray. That's all I've been doing is praying.
Listen, that's all we can do.
Because it's all unfolding. I really believe that our steps are ordered because I just look at some things that we get upset about and we get through those situations. But I think that it keeps us human and make sure that we know where everything comes from. Because I think that when we get into the world, we become complacent. And sometimes the struggle needs to be real. I know last week the last session you talked about how we can make a way out of no way. And I know that here there's going to be something made out of this. It's just that it's part of our history. We're actually in history right now with that clown or whatever you want to call him in the office. And no disrespect to him. I just feel that he does not personify what a president is and does. So it's just, I feel it's a mockery of our system. It really is. But right now we're in it because it is a democracy. So I just pray that where we go in the tunnels, it doesn't lead to war. That's what I'm praying for. No war. That's where I'm at. And every day I see that and I just try to calm myself. Okay, no war.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes some of the conversations happen. And one of the things I try to remind people is that we're resilient people. That despite everything that, could potentially be going on, in the country, that us as a people, we've shown resiliency throughout these hundreds of years. So, my belief is that whatever happens, and I know you used the word clown, I could use a few other words for him, but, with that being said, I think we can, we will show our resiliency in coming through. During this, I was actually just having a conversation with a gentleman prior to getting on here, and just talking about some of those conversations impacting work. Bringing into work, and he's an officer, not to get too much in a different facility in a different area, and just simply the stressors that are added to us. When we are moving around and when we're at work. So one of the things that, we were talking about is just really just trying to, maneuver with the added stressors at work. And then with the with how the country is moving now. So, we had a really good conversation about that. So, Ms. Toya, I think that, kind of speaks to, what you're saying.
Yeah. I like that we open up with the topics because it, this lets us know that we're human. We're not robots. We're here to bring a topic. However, there is a moment, and just to kind of change gears, is Nurse Beverly coming on with us today? I know we were adding a nursing moment.
Yeah, I don't know if she's coming on today because she didn't text me today, so she could be busy, doing CPR today because I know she teaches that as well. So I know that may be the reason. So maybe we'll see her on our next session. But other than that, I do want to move towards talking about our guest today. I'm very excited about bringing her on today. Now, when God works in divine order, right? These are the things that you can't question. And we just happen to work in the same place. And I asked her about her hair, okay? Because I know what it's like to go through the journey of, your hair. Okay. Yes. And we all do. Black women, we all do. We go to do these different things that we go through. But I just feel like as other Black women, sometimes we need to ask, how you making out with it? Is it going okay? And it went from that to her talking to me and sharing with me about a book she wrote. And I said, really? So then I said to her, I think you should be on my podcast, right? And she said, really? She was very excited about it. And I said, okay. But then now I'm like, okay, we got to get a guest anyway. So I said, well, do you have availability, for the 5th? She looked, she said, you know what? I think I do. She said, write my number down. So I wrote her number down. And then she said, make sure you text me when you get out of work. I said, okay. That I made sure when I put my book bag down at home, that was the first thing I did to make sure I texted sis, I just want to let you know that here's the information and I need this, and this from you. So you can be on the podcast. But what I did tell her that is very important, and you heard me say this to you too, Toya, that I am one of those sisters that reach back for other sisters because
yes,
I don't have time to disrespect anybody, especially other Black women. The thing is, when we're all together, we're very powerful. When we're separated, we can do a disservice to each other. And sometimes we don't care to see it. We will go out of our way to hurt people instead of helping others. And that is something that I tried the hardest never to do, but I seem to be the recipient of other people mistreating me based on what I have, what I've accomplished, all of those different things. Listen, when you sat here with me till 5 a.m. and still go to work and do a full-time job, then you could do whatever you want. You could hate on me if you were just sitting there with me. But being that I went on my own journey to do this, this is what I decided to do, is get a doctor's degree. It was no slight to you. It should be an up for you. It's an up for the community. You know what I mean? I'm bringing something to our community where you can say, dang, we got another Black doctor, which is only 1% of us. 1%. It's not a large percentage of people are holding doctorate degrees. But when you get that, this is what you receive. But that's not me. I'm going to bring my sisters and my brothers with me because that's a part of my job. So we're saying that we are going to bring our author in. This is going to be exciting. I'm so interested in
bringing that energy.
You got to. So Anakia Keeton, we're going to bring her on. So welcome. And we're going to welcome her to the couch. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good morning. How are you?
Toya, Mark, Keith, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, this is such a blessing.
Thank you so much for joining us. Like we're sitting on this couch together and we're going to sit and we're going to talk and get to know you. So let's start out with, who are you and how did you get to the place of where you are right now? So we would love to hear your journey and then how you got to your book.
Don't make me cry, Dr. Diamond. We are going to have a lot of joy in this room today. We are on our couch. We're going to have a lot of joy. So I am going to try not to cry because I'm a very emotional person. But I am Anakia Keeton. I've been in corrections for 24 years. I will retire next year. I am a mother of 2. I have my own business, Supreme Party Events, which I'm an event planner. I am an author of of God's Grace in the Shadow of Love. Hey guys. I had a rough journey coming up. A very, tough childhood. And when you're young, you don't think that it's tough. You don't realize that you're tough. It's a tough journey until you get older and you realize how damaged you really are.
Mm-hmm.
I then got into an abusive marriage. And from that, I met my shining armor. He was my everything. And from there, I am now a widow. But I'm doing big things now. I am through the struggle and through the walk. I have always talked to God. And I remember on a Tuesday, I was on vacation and I was sitting in my room and God showed me a vision. He showed it to me clear as day. And I'm sitting on a platform. And on this platform, I see women sitting next to me and I see books, but I knew they were my books. And then I look in the audience and I see a bunch of people. And I said, God, what you trying to show me? And I didn't understand it. So I got up and I go to my sister's room and I said, sis, let me tell you what I just saw, what God just showed me. He said, well, write your book. And I said, write my book? I'm not writing a book. I want to sit on somebody's couch and talk and let them type it. I don't have time for none of that. So my 10-year-old, well, she'll be 10 this month. She says, Mama, go write the book. Go write the book. And she starts pushing me towards my room. I said, now this is confirmation. Let me go in here and pray. So I get on my knees and I start praying. And I don't have no idea of how to write a book. I don't know a publisher. I don't know an editor. I don't know anything about a book. So I got on my knees and I prayed and I said, God, your will be done. I accept whatever you have for me. I accept it. If you want this for me, if you're showing me this, it's because you want this for me. So if you want this for me, then you give it to me. You pour it out from the pit of my belly. You give me the memory. You give me the strength. Whatever you want me to write about, you give it to me. I had no idea. That was on a Tuesday. So I sit up and I get up. I sit on my bed and I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know this. I look in my closet and it was like a giant to me. Like this dragon was like a giant. And it was a microphone with the earpiece and the microphone. And I said, oh, so you want me to talk? That's what you want me to do. So I go to my closet, I grab the microphone and I take it out the box. And it was so old that it was dry rotted. So all the foam just started falling down. And I said, God, you got jokes. Are you kidding me? So I go to my trash can, I dust it off. And then I put it on and I plug it up into my laptop and I start talking. And I said, oh, you're serious? Okay. So I start talking. I start speaking. I start talking and it started coming to me. So now I'm on Facebook and it said, would you answer? It was a post and she was my coworker. She had retired. And it said, would you answer the door? Let me help you write your book, publish your book. And I said, no, let me help you publish your book. And I said, I know this ain't true. I know this ain't real. So I text her. I said, hey, help me. So Arthur Thompson, she was my publisher. And I said, help me. What do I do? And she says, okay, this is what you do. She said, this, that, and the third. I said, okay. By Sunday, it was in her office. It was being published. It is now copywritten. It's on Amazon. And God is so good. I am now on my second book, The Act of Loving a Narcissist. So I feel like I'm on fire. God has not only opened doors and windows for me, he took the roof off the building. When God moves.
Amen.
And I feel like it's no stopping me. It's like coming fast paced. Just God is so good. I'm just so thankful. So then, wait, oh yeah, that's right. So now my oldest daughter tells me, Mom, you should do a podcast. And I said, I don't know anything about a podcast. She said, well, then you should do a book club. So it was about 4 or 5 of us. We sat and we read chapters 1 and 2 of the book. And she's like, see, this is good. You need to do a podcast and a book club. And I said, I don't know anything about any of this. So then I'm at work and I meet Dr. Diamond and she's talking about my hair. And I ended up in her office and it was like, instantly, just the love. I felt the energy, the love, and the sisterhood. I just felt it immediately. And I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be here. I felt it, and I walked through that door. So then I'm at my daughter's gymnastics last week, and I'm always there. And this lady, this Black lady, she's always there, and we always just speak and just keep it moving. And she says, she just talked to me that one day. She was like, "Hey, listen, about time you came in." I said, "No, I'm in class." So I was on a Zoom doing class, so I had to listen because we learning AI right now. I need to pay attention. So I said, when we were done, I came in. So we started talking, and she's like, I'm telling her about my book, and she says, "Oh my gosh, I love reading books." Look, she starts showing me her books, and she's like, I'm looking for somebody, will you be my mentor? And I'm like, I said, I have a mentor. I said, I don't mind being your mentor. I said, I'll walk with you. I will help you, whatever you need to do. I said, I got a publisher, I got an editor, what you need. I said, what we going to do? She says, I think we should do what'd she say? A book club. I want to join a book club. I said, oh my gosh. I said, God is so good. I said, listen, let me tell you what my daughter said. So now I'm 10 deep into the book club. So she says, this is God. She said, because I always see you and we never talk. She said, it wasn't time for us to talk. She said, I guess when God found fit, he saw fit for us to connect, and we had something in place. He placed us the same way with you, Dr. Diamond and Toya and Keith and Mark. It's my time. I am walking in my journey. I want what God has for me. I don't want nothing else. I'm walking in my path.
That makes a lot of sense and everything. Powerful story for sure, and everything. Definitely.
Thank you.
Because I had for you, I got tons of them, but we have a show on the network that I am part of and everything, Pod TV and all along those lines. And one of the things we talk about regularly, there's a show called Where is the Love? And it's Stephanie Hockenhall and her son, Gene. And they have both realized that there is an epidemic of bullying going on. So I was just wondering your take on that and all along those lines, because they are feeling that there is an epidemic, which is why they do their show every Sunday at 6 o'clock. And like I said, they just finished a whole series on gaslighting. And then before that, it was a series on narcissism. And now it's a series on healing and that healing journey and all along those lines. So I just wondering, and in your journey, how long did it take you to realize that you were dealing with a narcissist, and how long did it take you to realize that you wanted to get out of that? And I'm thinking that there was probably some bullying involved as well.
Absolutely. That was tough too. I was dating this guy for 8 years, and I didn't even know what a narcissist was. I never had an idea. I didn't know what a narcissist was. I was going through a lot. I was writing. I had a journal. I just kept writing notes because I felt like every time I would say something to him, he would make me feel like it's me. Oh, it's you. It's your past. You dealt with that. You were cheated on. You were abused. I said, but wait a second. That was a long time ago. At my big age, I am not bringing that up because I don't even think about that. I said, because my husband took me away from all of that. So I knew that wasn't it. So I just had to start taking notes and start writing and watching and paying attention. I mean, I was like Detective 10,000. I just had to pay attention because I had a lot at stake I had to protect. And 4 years, it took me 4 years to actually say, you know what? I have to be done with this because this is no good for me. And then I started doing research, and then I said, this is what it is. He's a narcissist. And the more I do research, the more I read, the more I study it, it sickens me because it took me 8 years of turmoil and confusion and demonic spirits
Wow.
of not knowing where you are to make you think that you're the crazy one, but you're not the crazy one. And then I said, well, when I said to him, you're a narcissist, he says, you're a narcissist. And then I said, wait, am I a narcissist? He had me thinking, if you're thinking, are you a narcissist? You're not a narcissist because narcissists don't think. Am I a narcissist?
Well, I mean, that's part of what I learned. And Dr. Diamond, I'm sure Toya can speak to it even more than I can. But in talking to Stephanie and her son and being the producer of that particular series, it sounds like he was doing a lot of gaslighting because narcissists are notorious for doing a lot of gaslighting and all along those lines. They will gaslight you in a minute, in a day, and everything. So that's part of the quality of a narcissism is gaslighting. But I'm sure that the ladies can speak to that better than I can.
Yes.
Stuck right
I
now.
agree.
Yes.
I do agree about the narcissistic type of behaviors, and it's the way it's displayed. Everything is subtle in the beginning because it's about capturing you, the person, because you become the trophy and also the person that they want to use and abuse. And it also makes their ego grandiose because that's how they think about everything. And that is where it becomes hard because now you're dealing with a personality that you're like, what am I really dealing with here? You know, because you're going to start seeing, like you said, now I see when your eyes are open, then guess what also opens up too? Fear. Because now you're like, how do I get out of this? I just got into it. Now, how do I get out? That's where the difficulty comes in that, and that's where it's scary, you know. But I wanted to lead into a question for you because I myself work a lot with trauma. You know, I specialize in that, and I want to talk to you about that. And what I'm curious about is, how did you heal from the trauma from your past? Because you talked about trauma. How did you heal there? I want to understand your healing from the person that was the narcissist in your life, and then how you got here. Because people need to hear your journey, because healing is what we are. In our community, we identify with healing. We don't identify with therapy, the word. You know, I'm a therapist. So I know that we don't identify with that word at all. So I want to hear from you. How did you do it?
I poured into myself. I did a lot of soul searching. In the beginning, I wasn't the greatest because I did whatever I felt like I had to do, whatever made me happy. I hung out with friends. I have an awesome mom group, amazing mom group, and they would come over. We would go to each other's houses. We would chit chat. A lot of prayer. I pour into my 10-year-old. I have a granddaughter. Whatever makes me happy, I have to focus on me. This is how I said, instead of investing in a man that can just take that investment and walk away from me, I'm going to invest in myself.
Amen.
And that's why I'm where I am right now. Because I said, no more. I have nothing else to give. Only into me. So like I said before, whatever God has for me is what I want. So I do a lot of prayer, a lot of meditating. I don't want to say I seclude myself or keep myself in hiding, but I just stay busy. I keep myself busy. I stay focused, and I don't harp on what it was. I don't even dislike them. I don't dislike them. I'm happy because it was a blessing for me. You have to realize that was a blessing. God blessed me with me finding out that they were narcissists. You know how long people stay in relationships and they just don't, the marriages, the relationships, and they will never get the true love that they deserve.
Right.
And you can never love or pour into people or someone else, him or her, unless you pour into yourself and you know what yourself need. What's yourself? What do you need? What do I need? What do Anika need? What pleases Anika? What satisfies Anika? You have to teach people how to treat you. But if you don't know how to treat yourself because you were so broken and you're so dysfunctional from being broken and not healed, and a lot of times, when you go, I made a mistake. I went from one relationship to another and I wasn't healed. And it's just like you get cut and your wound is open. You don't put a Band-Aid, you don't clean it, you don't seal it, you don't wait for it to heal, you don't put stitches. It's just an open wound. When you go outside, all you're getting is germs, all those bad, right? So now your heart is open, you're broken, you're not healed. Ooh, you're not healed. So you go and you're not attract what the wound is. You attract it. You're not going to attract the right person. It's like going to a grocery store and you're hungry. You just pick up stuff because you want to eat. You're not ready.
Yeah.
I agree. And I just want to just jump in, and I just know I am a survivor as well. And today, everything you said, I concur. But when I say that to someone else who is not a survivor of trauma, they can identify. Right. Why are you going down this rabbit hole? So I thank you, Anika, for putting it like that. I'm a visual person. Yeah. And now God is speaking to me through you, because I've been envisioning me sitting on Tamron Hall's couch. I keep having this vision.
Yes, we know it.
But I have all these distractions.
Yes.
And now you make me feel like I am not out here by myself. But I believe that, you know, faith comes by hearing. As they say, we walk by faith, not by sight. And I feel that the distractions that are in the world is keeping us from our greatness. Right. And that's what On the Couch is. We're bringing something tangible to the audience, because we can sit here and talk day to day. But, you know, I rejoined my church. It's a testimony. And I said in a talk that Dr. Diamond and I had, it was all things women. And we want to do it again. Yes. And basically what I said, what if God is not in it, I don't want it. And think about it. Anything that I'm in putting my life into and he's not in it, it don't go well. It doesn't go well. But when we put him first, we are vessels. Yes. As they say, John 3:16. Basically, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So that's what it is. So there has to be people sprinkled around the world to know that there is something greater on the other side. Yes. And someone said to me, a family member, why are you always putting God in it? I said, you go to church every day. What do you mean? Why do I put him in it? Because that is the testimony. So there are days that he's carried me on. Yes. When I couldn't do it. You ever feel like that? You just driving in your car, you're tired from work, you get there, your subconscious gets you to your destination, but your mind is clouded. Yes. And I said I was constantly giving. I've been in the mental health field, be 27 years. However, I was giving the advice, but not really looking in the mirror. I wasn't disclosing. So I wasn't healing myself. And as Dr. April said, we need to heal and need to take care of ourselves, because how can I heal someone else and I still have not been following my own advice? Right. So thank you. Yeah. Visually, that's how I see it. Yeah. So the example that you gave about a wound, I'm by myself. I'm single. Oh, you're so cute. I'm by myself because I just realized at my age that I need some healing myself. Yes. And the narcissists are there. Yes. And I guess I don't want to say that, but that's what I think this individual was in my life for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And it starts out, oh, we're friends. We're friends. Okay. But you've been a friend who helped me heal through my trauma. So of course you cross the line from there. There may be a trauma bond. Right. Definitely. So not to take this, you know, for me, but thank you, because you are on the other side of that. And I think that the survivors need to hear that and know that it may take time. Like you said, you might need to be by yourself and date yourself. So if I'm doing all this, I'm dating myself. I'm not doing this for anybody. Right. So thank you for letting the women know you have to love yourself from with the in to the out.
And men and the men too. So we can't leave the men out either.
Yeah, the men too.
So Keith, I think Keith has a question also. Go ahead, Keith.
I was going to ask Sister Keeton. Sister Keeton, first of all, thank you for your courage. And speaking out. In addition to in speaking to that courage, can you speak to the courage that it took you from knowing that I am worth it while you're in the relationship? Can you speak to the courage to know that this is my moment, I am worth it? I now have the courage to not only step away, but go seek help. I think sometimes people are aware that in any trauma that I need help, but what courage did you pull from to be able to say, now I'm making a phone call. Now I'm seeking out this the self-care, the self-help. Can you speak to that courage that it took for you?
I give myself every day self affirmations. And the more I speak to myself, the more I know that I am worth it. And I have a 10-year-old daughter that's watching me. So I know I have to be strong for her. I knew that when you know better, you do better. I knew that before this, I had an awesome marriage. I had an awesome life, an amazing husband. So I knew the feel of it. I knew what it should be. I knew that this wasn't it. And I knew that I couldn't stay broken because I've been in a healthy body before. So I took every ounce of me, a little bit at a time, a little dab of do, until you get stronger and stronger. You got to crawl before you walk. You're going to go through tears. You're going to go all that, but that's just healing. That's just strength. That's the weak leaving your body. And then every time you look in the mirror, you look at yourself and you say, I am great. I'm worth it. I'm amazing. I see myself. If you could see it, you could dream it, you could be it. So if you look in the mirror and you say, I want to be this person. And this is her right here. Here I am. I am her. I am worth it. And then you just a little at a time.
Hey, Miss Keeton, along those same lines, I was just curious because I've got some friends that have been widows in their life, or that have been in relationships that have ended abruptly and everything like that. So without getting into too far details and everything, because it sounds like the gentleman that passed was the love of your life and everything like that. And I've had friends of mine that was their love of their life. As a matter of fact, one of the founders of the network Pod TV lost her husband, and I think that was her childhood sweetheart, and lost him about 2 or 3 years ago, and all along those lines. But I sometimes wonder if that doesn't create almost like a target, because you had such a loving relationship and everything like that you might have been looking to replicate or to find something that was easy or similar to that. And if that doesn't create a avenue for the narcissist to play in and all along those lines. So I was just wondering your thoughts around that, because I have had some friends that they seem like they are wanting to jump into a relationship as soon as the other relationship ends, particularly if it ends abruptly. And usually widowhood is an abrupt ending.
Right. So I'm a narcissist. Look for a person that has a lot of empathy. I have a big heart.
Right.
I'm a caring and giving person. So I'm a target anyway.
Right.
Once you have that, you're a target. I don't look for a person to replace my husband, because no one can replace him. When God made him, he threw the mole away.
Right.
So where his space is, his home and my heart, no one goes there. Right. That's his space. So no one could fill his shoes. They were too big. So I don't even try. I've never tried to fill his shoes, but I do know that God made woman and man. I'm not supposed to be here by myself.
Right.
So I know what I want. It's not there yet. When God sends them, I'm going to know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was so broken from the loss of my husband and me trying to just find, family, you know what I mean? Family. I want that family environment. I want that structure. That's what I want. Right. So with me being, so caring and giving and looking so hard for that, I think that's what happened. But now I'm not desperate. I'm not rushing. No, I'm me. I am her. You understand? So you can't get that way again. So no. And that's another thing that I'm blessed. I'm blessed because guess what? Toya, can't get God again, because guess what? You know the signs now, honey.
Yes.
When they so happy to show, when you meet them and they giving you all that grandiose, oh, it's all about Toya.
The representative. I call it, I'm meeting your representative. Right. That's what it is.
They're so concerned about. And another thing, they so concerned, but what you can't do is you can't tell them anything. We talk too much. We gotta humble ourselves, and that's where we got right there, because we want to, as females, and that's what we do. We want that relationship communication, because you know why? Communication is structure, it's the foundation, it's this, is that, and that's just us thinking that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have a question for you. Just to dive into this book, do you have any short tips, like something to look for that, you know, since you're talking to the masses right now, something that we can discuss, like that you saw, the number 1, number 2, number 3? Do you have something like that?
Are you talking about my first book or I'm still writing my second book?
The first one, because I know it was do you have any?
But this one is not about narcissists. This is an autobiography.
Yes, okay, and that's what we're going to hear about, her autobiography.
Yes, that's what. Yeah. So, are there anything in there that you may have talked about when you were just telling us your story? Because now I have to buy this book so I can dive deep in there.
The only thing that we talked about would be, it's about the abusive marriage that I was in, and my husband. Let's see. The broken childhood, the traumas of my childhood of living.
And if it's no, take your time. Yeah, take your time. We were just looking for something to share, but if it's not the time, it's okay. Because you can come back here and you can talk about that second book. The second book.
When my editor,
we like takeaways. You know, I was just looking for a takeaway.
Right.
And it's fine, because I know exactly where you are.
Yeah.
And right now, the first part of it is getting it out. And then the healing is when you take the journey that you've been through and you hit those points, which now the identification, that's what I'm hearing from you today.
Right.
The identification is fine there, because now through all of that, it has birthed the new you, new you that's here in front of us on this couch today. And I just know that what I'm taking from what you're explaining to me is that it's okay to be selfish a little bit, right? Number 2 is you have your daughter there. And now that through your healing, you are showing a great example of that, right? And the number 3 here is now through that, you're going to share that with the mommy group that you're with. Also, you explained to me about your book club, you know? That's what we're excited about.
Yeah.
You know, so when you come back the next time, we're gonna be on the other side of that, right, Dr. Diamond?
That's right.
That's right. I know, Keith, you got something to say, right? Go ahead, Keith. Go.
So I was asking, I wanted to ask a question. Toya mentioned earlier, one of the things she mentions was John 3:16, where God loved the world so that He gave, and I think that's one of the most amazing display of love is giving. Ms. Sister Keeton, if you could speak to your visual angels, your nonprofit, if you could speak to your visual angels and the giving that comes out, because I think you mentioned that healing is giving. If you could speak to your vision when it comes to visual angels, the start, how did you get it started, coming out of a place of you needing healing, and how do you heal others through the healing that you received?
Olivia is my daughter, and she was a twin, Olivia and London, and London passed a day later. And I just felt from that point on, I have to pay it forward, because I always felt like London was only in place to make sure Olivia made it safe.
Right.
So once
it's okay.
I'm sorry. Once
no, you don't apologize. You're fine.
Don't have to apologize at all.
No, you don't. This is what our platform needs to see. Human side of who we are. Here on this platform, you are going to be you. We are going to encourage you to do what you're doing because other people need to see this. And I mean, from our brothers to our sisters, because we need to be encouraged to let our emotions show. When we don't show it, people don't know when you're broken. Right. And then when you can come back and heal from that, because we hide and now I'm just going to isolate it to Black women. We tend to walk around with our cape all day long. So then, of course, when you have a person that's a narcissist, yes, they're watching the cape you got around your neck. And they're saying, oh, she's strong. She could take it, whatever I say or do. But what you're doing right now is taking the cape off and showing them that I can be broken and you can understand that I can heal from this brokenness, which you didn't cause. Okay, so once this book that you wrote about yourself is showing us that you're beginning to separate and begin to regain your power. So regaining your power right now is letting us see you. This is you. Thank you. Because we needed to see that. Thank you. And all those that are listening in right now, they get an opportunity to see you. So thank you. And it's okay. You take your time and you move into that space. So as you were talking about your beautiful babies, go from there.
I just immediately felt like I have to give back. So they were born at CHOP Hospital because no hospital would deliver them because I was too young and London was sick. So it was too dangerous that CHOP was the only one that would do my delivery. So I continued to take Olivia and donate to CHOP Hospital. And I just said, I laid in my bed one day and I said, I just want to do more. Like that's just not enough. I'm just giving to the hospital. That's just not enough. Like there's a lot more people out there in our community that needs help. So I laid there and God always gives me the vision. Always, I saw my name, Visual Angels, and I would sleep with a notepad next to my bed because that's when I would get my confirmation or my order, my direction. And I'm quiet, laying in the bed. So I wrote everything down, and I woke up in the morning when I got up, and I said, "Okay, so nonprofit." And I'm like, I don't know a name. So it was like about a week later, it came up Visual Angels. So I would have the two, I don't know if y'all saw it online, but the two little girls with the V, and that represents London and Olivia. And we would, go feed the homeless and just do things when people needed help with their rent or, their electric bill. We just found ways to help and give, and donate. So it was just always pouring out into the less fortunate, pouring out into people that needed a little assistance, a little help.
That's amazing, because I think that we all do that in our own way. And now, like I said, this whole call has just been confirmation for me, because I've always been different. I treat people the way I want to be treated. However, I don't get that back. So what I do is I said, God forgive them because they know not what they do. That's what I have to say now to continue to go forward. I've been blessed in many ways and without having my parents. And it's just a lot. I just always felt different. But just listening to you today knows that there are other people out there like me. And like you said, you have your mom circle. So the folks need to hear that. And thank you, Dr. Diamond, for allowing that statement and saying, be you. Because we walk with this armor with a big S on our chest because of the trauma that we have gone through. And that's what it is. She specializes in trauma. I pretty much am a trauma survivor, but in all different forms. But today we're letting our audience see you in your imperfectness, because it says it takes an imperfect person to do a perfect work. And how can someone give someone advice about a marriage and they've never been married? How can someone give advice about trauma and they have not been through trauma? And that's really what On the Couch is. You come here, you come as you are, free, and letting us know how you gotten from one area to the next. Right. So we are encouraged today by having you here and being you.
Right.
And letting us know that, yes, you do cry, you do go through things, but you have survived and still here and still thriving. Right. And sometimes folks need to see that.
Thank you.
Because we have a lot going on in this world. And I don't mean to be long-winded, but it's on my spirit right now. Yes. Visual angels. I never looked at it like that. But now you've given me another way to see it and know that there is hope. And a lot of times when you're dealing with someone who is a narcissist, there's the hope, the victim or whomever is dating them. When you see a hope, you see a little glimmer of that. But what happens is that person doesn't see you like that. And for you to profoundly say conquering and, how that was, because you were this bubbly person talking. And you don't want to say that the person is really looking, because sometimes I think that hurt people and they don't even really know what they're actually doing themselves.
That's right.
So, that's a whole nother topic. But, thank you for sharing that visuality of the angel.
Yeah.
Right.
Sister Keeton, one of the things that you said was some people don't have faith because they don't see where their blessings come from.
That's right.
I'm often reflecting, and I'm huge on gratitude. Just simply being in the moment. How do you help others, with seeing their blessings when they have so much in front of them? We were talking a little bit earlier about, the state of the world today. But when we have so many obstacles, we have so many things in front of us that could prohibit us from seeing how beautiful the sky is, how beautiful the trees are, that despite I'm driving in traffic, I'm still able to get to work safely. How do you help people see, those blessings that those that you're working with?
I always try to tell people, and I don't try, I tell them. I just actually, before I got on this morning, I was speaking to my sister, and she was very, very upset about something that was going on. And I said, listen, it's okay. It's okay. You are walking in your purpose. You're going to always look for the worst, but don't look for the best, because guess what? It could be worse.
Absolutely.
Where you are and what you're complaining about, it could be way, way worse than that. We've all gone, anybody that's walking on this earth, they've been through problems, they've had trauma, they've had drama, they've had issues and brokenness and discomfort. Everybody has gone through that. But at the same time, you made it through. You made it through. And God put people in your path. So you may, just like Toya said, she felt like she was different, but now she sees me and she heard my story, and it's giving her something. It's just the little things. It's just the little things. Yeah. I was talking to a lady on the phone last night for over 2 hours. She may be online right now, I'm not sure, but over 2 hours, and she was broken, crying, and just and I said, listen, stop speaking the negativity. Stop bringing that into the universe. What you put in the universe is what you get out. Stop speaking what it ain't, and start speaking what it is and what it's going to be. Because you're going to bring it into. You're going to put life into it. Put life into right. Bring life into what you want out of life. Bring life into that. Don't talk. I don't want to hear you say that anymore. Don't talk like that. What do you want from that? Okay, so that happened to you. So what do you want now? What's next? Okay, good. So now that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the positivity, the positive aspect of that. Don't focus on that negative.
I agree with that. When the negative, you stay in the negative, that is all what your outcome is going to be. Right. Which leads me to Yeah, which leads me to another question about how did you come up with your title, God's Grace in the Shadow of Love? How did you come up with this title? Because as you told me, this is an autobiography. So I'm curious to know, how did you get there with that title?
Everything that I've gone through, God has always shown me grace and mercy. I've never, and I was searching for love, searching for the wrong things. But even through all of that, God gave me his grace. And I met Andre. So I was looking for love. God had him already waiting for me.
Right.
The shadows.
Right.
And where did you meet him?
At work. He was a lieutenant at my prison. Hey.
Oh boy.
Beautiful.
Wow. That is beautiful. That's beautiful. And, you know, like you said, and what I've heard you say is that you had these moments where you kept a pad with you and you're writing these things down, and you never thought it was going to formulate into your autobiography, which is a book. And it's very courageous to put your information out there about who you are. You know what I mean? It is not an easy task to say, well, I'm going to go ahead out here and just put all my business out there, because you are. And it's not only just you, but it's other people in your life as well, because you may change their names, but they've done, there's an experience you have. And one thing about us as human beings, we're social creatures, but we have social connection and social experiences. Each person brings an experience to our life, and we do the same. Right. But it's what the effects of the experience, right? So if my experience, you talked about this earlier, you and I, the experience we had in the exchange we had was very positive. You walked out of that door with positivity. I stayed in my office with positivity. And I was saying this was very impactful, not just for yourself, but for me as well. So they gave me the opportunity to say, this is someone that I can build a friendship with, possibly a sisterhood with, and keep going, because you gave me that vibe that I can do that. So instead of the arm was crossed, the arm was open. So once the arm is open, you're going to walk towards the person because they're welcoming. So the experiences, is what I'm talking about. Like, you had to decipher too. How do I talk about these experiences? So how did you do that? How did you get there?
You mean with you, or just in general with anyone?
Just in general, when you wrote this book, because you wrote about your experiences, your autobiography.
Right. So like I said, I prayed and I asked God to give it to me, whatever he wanted me to write. And to be honest with you, as I was speaking, I didn't, every now and again I would cry because I would understand what I'm writing, but it was just flowing. It wasn't until Martha Thompson, my publisher, said, read the book. I need you to read it. I didn't want to do that. I started reading. I would break down. My niece came from college and she was reading, and I would say, stop. And I would break down. And I'm like, this book is just doing something. So Martha said, no, you have to read it. This is your healing. You have to read. I honestly, that was the grace of God, because I don't recall just going from story to story. I do, but I don't. It was just flowing. And I didn't have no structure. I just was speaking. Yeah. And then I would say, oh, you know what? A couple of times I said, this shouldn't be over here. It should be over here. So I would take it from there and put it over there. And I said, okay, now that sounds okay. That was just it. It was truly the grace of God, because I don't know how I didn't sit. I know 10 years ago, when I first lost Andre, I started writing, and I only got to like what I said, because on pen and paper is different from the actual fonts that you type. I thought 3 chapters. I thought I was doing something. So my oldest daughter was like, Mom, come on, this is good. You got to give me more. And then I got pregnant, and I don't got time for that. I put it down. So when Olivia was 3, I said, you know what? I think I'm ready. So I opened my laptop, and my laptop had a virus in it. So it would take like 10 months for it just to turn on. And I said, forget this book. Boom. I closed it back, left it alone because it wasn't my time.
You needed more material.
When God gave me the vision, it flowed. Like I said, it only took me 5 days. It
wow.
flowed.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you, Lord. Thank you.
That is just so amazing. It really is.
Yes.
As we are going along, so everyone that is watching us today, we're going to have an opportunity to try out our call-in. So I'm going to do, present our call-in number and see and give you the opportunity to call in to ask questions. Now you can definitely ask our guest questions, and then if you have questions for us in general too, you can go ahead and ask us some questions as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put the number up here, try to call in, and let's see if this works, you guys. So we all going to try it together, but other than that, you all keep talking while I get this up and running.
Yes.
So
was this your first time writing?
Yes. Yes, I've never written a book. When I was a kid, I was very young, and I always thought, you'll actually see that part in the book. I was about 13 or 14 years old, and me and my best friend, we would sit on the bed in her room, and we would write. And I said, I'm gonna write a book. I was very, but I never saw it after that. It was just something that, we would just jot and say, yeah, I'm gonna write a book, But I spoke it even back then. But our time and God's time is different. So, yeah.
Do you still have those journals? Because I'm a journaler. I have different volumes, breakups. I write about the breakup, and then you pull it back.
I do, and I am going to actually use that, and I always said that too. Before I even wrote my first book, I said, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna put this in a book. I need this, and then people say, why do you listen to him? Why you accept his text messages? I said, because this is footage. I need the receipt. I need it. I need this. I'm not blocking him.
I'm question for her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello. Sure. Go ahead. She can hear you.
We don't hear anything, April, yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we don't hear anything yet, April. Still trying to wait.
I know we have enhancement this time. I love it.
Got those enhancements going. Hey, Miss Keeton, what advice would you give for?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll still give you that doctorhood already and everything. What advice would you give for folks that are wanting to write their stories but have hard stories to write? Because I've got a couple of friends that have got some hard knock stories to tell, some stories that are like yours of hardship and victory and everything like that. So what advice would you give to folks that are wanting to tell their stories but aren't yet ready to make that move?
Journal, write, take notes. I say this all the time. Every last one of us have a story to tell. It's in the pit of our bellies. God has blessed us with memories and traumas and situations. And everybody thinks that, oh, that was bad. No. It's a blessing out of that. Just accept it. Accept what happened, because guess what? It's a memory. It created something. So in the pit of your belly, you have memories. Bring that out. And every time that something happens and it bothers you, it's because, for one, you're not healed yet. And for two, it triggers. It's triggers. So if you have those triggers,
you hear me?
Chip it away.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make sure that she can hear you. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, you all, you can hear me, right? Can everybody hear me? Okay, I want to see if you can hear the caller. So I'm going to be quiet for a second and see if you can hear her. Go ahead. Can you begin to speak so I can see if she can hear you? Can you hear her?
We don't hear her.
Probably yet. Can't hear you. One second. Okay.
So just chip away with your memories, whatever you have, just write, because your story to you may not be good. Your story to you, you may think nobody wants to hear it. But somebody, even if you just affect one person or you help one person, that's a blessing right there, because something that you've gone through in your life, someone else has gone through it and they just don't know. They don't know who you are. We don't walk around with an open chest to say, oh, I want to know about that story right there. You just, write your story, continue to think it, dream it, speak it, write it down. Before you know it, you got a whole book.
Okay. Try to speak now. Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear her?
No.
I heard a little bit.
No, they can't. You can hear a little bit?
Yeah, I heard a little bit.
You did? What did you hear?
It just like she was starting to talk. Are you talking to me or the caller?
Oh, yeah, I'm talking to the caller. Can you hear the caller?
No.
It was a moment where she started and then it went out. If she can speak again.
Okay. Can you speak again? Ma'am? Yeah, can you speak again? Because she said she heard you a little bit. Keep talking. Can y'all hear her?
No.
Not this time.
Yeah, they can't hear you. Yeah, I'm the only one that can hear you. They can't hear you.
Maybe you want to get the question and then put it out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to get the question. Okay. Okay, can y'all hear? Y'all can hear me again, right?
Yes.
Question. Okay, we're going to have to fix that. Thank you all for bearing with us. So I'll just ask you all to send your questions, put it in the comments, and we will read it to her. Okay, thank you. Okay, but go ahead. Okay, you all can keep talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I guess a question, when is your book club meet? And is it virtual?
I can do virtual. I plan on doing virtual. We haven't met yet. I just got yesterday just got the structure typed out to see how we're going to do it and how we're going to meet. We're going to do virtual for some because I have a best friend that's in Florida and I have a best friend that lives in Maryland and so and a best friend in Philly, and my mom group, and everybody can't be at the same place at the same time. So what I want to do is have virtual as well as in person. And I want to do it once a month. So it can give us time to read and
share the information with us. I would love to join because I'm actually working on an anthology and I could use you on that if you would be willing, because I have a lot of material and it's just that now with life happening, so I know that I'm at the brink of something big because the distractions are coming and I have notes. I'm constantly on my notes, and then my mentor says I need more material. He said, you haven't written in a while, you have not sent me an updated draft. I said, well, life is happening, but I have good material in between. Right. So again, thank you for sharing that. It doesn't matter. It's an ongoing process. And, at the brink of me have to go on disability retirement, that's going to be my filter. So, so it always happens in that way.
Yeah,
I got you.
So I'm gonna go to the comments. Okay. So we have Martha Thompson who said, I just want to say, God bless you. And I am proud of Keeton for pressing through her healing. Or she is talking about herself, the more she will heal. Do you agree with that comment?
I do. That is my producer. Hey, Martha. Yes. Yes. I do agree. She was the one that encouraged me. You have to read. The more you read, the more you're going to heal from it. And it is. I still have, crying moments. I still have emotional moments, but for the most part, there's days that I can read and or think and not cry and go through it. So I do agree.
Yes.
Okay, you have also, my name is Andrea Reeves. My question is, since this is an autobiography, how did the family as a whole take you telling your truth? Good question.
Yes, very good question.
Thank you, Andrea. I asked my mom and dad about 8 years ago, or when Liv was 3, 7 years ago, when I decided to pick the book back up to open it and start again. And I asked my mom and dad, I said, listen, I want to write this book. Do you mind if I put this certain things in there? Can I start off with this story? And that story is the start of my book. They said yes. And I never, ever deviated from that. I always knew what my chapter 1 was going to be. I got input through my siblings, only through the chapter 1. Like my siblings, I don't know if they read the book or didn't read the book because we live in different states and we just have different setups of lives. But I did discuss that with them, and they were okay with it. Now, after they read the book, it shouldn't hurt anybody. My aunt and uncle read it last night, and they said, you did your thing. You did your thing, niece. You did your thing. And my uncle was like, I remember those stories. I remember that. I remember that. Oh, I didn't think you had it in you. You have it. Like, my niece is an author, you know. So I believe that everybody is happy. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be honest, Andrea. I'm different. Your family can be the worst sometimes. I don't look for confirmation from my family. Your biggest supporters are not your family. Your biggest haters are your family members. I keep it real 1000% at all times. I do not peachy cream nothing. Listen, the strangers are the ones that will give you.
I concur.
Your props. So I don't really. I'm sure that they are supporting me. My siblings and my family members, they are supporting me in this book, in this journey, the journey that I'm in, and I'm so sure 1000% that they like the journey that I'm walking in.
Good.
You know.
Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, because we did in March we did all things women, and my family member said to me, you know, I didn't like some of the things I heard, but I had to give the PG version. Right. So, and sometimes it's to the point of if you live something, why would it be a statement like that? Right. Because a child with no parents and moved 4 times, it was my reality. And right. I'm here today. And there are times that there was suicide contemplation. There were things that were going on, but I'm still here. I only have 1 child because of the relationship that I had went through. But again, it's hard. But how could you tell someone not to write something that they lived? Right. And that's the thing that is scary for myself, and it may be for other people. But I know there is a God, because despite all of that, and it will be in my book, I am still here breathing and still loving on people who don't love back the same way that I give it. Right. So thank you for sharing that, because I never wanted to say that publicly. But sometimes there are folks that have been through something, and that's why I will say hurt people, but I'm a healer. Right. And for me, being a therapist at Rutgers Behavioral Health, sitting there talking in a women's group, I heard things and seen things. Right. And because my eyes have seen it, that's sometimes why I'm flat. Because when you hear, right, Dr. Diamond, you would never believe what people will tell you. Yeah. And that's, you know, so thank you for sharing that on the other end as one of our guests. Right. So that anyone else that is experiencing that, it's okay. Right. Can I
yes.
pick off of that a little bit?
Absolutely. Go for it.
When I wrote chapter 1, my brother, Otis, he lives in Florida. I have a sister that lives in Bristol. I have a sister that lives in Jersey. I have a brother that lives in Jersey. We all got together, and the book was already in the publisher's office. So when we read chapter 1, we all had different versions. Well, I'm the baby of 6. So of course my version is going to be different from yours. Your version is going to be different from mine. And I told them, you write, put it in your story, because that's your story. But I'm only writing my story. I can't write what you saw or what you remember, because that's your story. That's not my story. I'm only going by what my story, my memory, my vision, because everybody's eyesight is like a camera lens. So what you see, We could take a picture. We could sit in one room, all 5 of us sit in one room, and then we write a journal about what we saw in the room, and every last one of them will be different. They will be the same, but not the same.
Well, look at the gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John during those times. And you see, you read the Bible, one of the oldest history books. So there it is. It's your perception, your view, and that's it. And then your understanding of that. So maturity level, you said you were 6, you were a baby.
Right.
They may, depending on how the age structure went. But our genogram is very serious. And I think that sometimes, you know, when you think about psychology, the genogram is very important. And from there, your lens and how you interpret it, and you haven't talked about it. So then now I'm glad that you guys met together to actually discuss it. And then from there, they gave you more understanding and healing, didn't it?
Right. It did. It did.
I'm going to turn to the comments, and I'm going to read these comments to you. Martha Thompson said, "Sometimes you can't tell your family until you write in the book. That's what I did as an author, and my family didn't know until the book came out. It was my truth, my time, the way I wanted to expose it, just like God told me to be transparent." So do you feel that you have that same thought philosophy as well?
Yes, because I didn't go to my siblings or my family. Like I said, I only went to my parents, and that was like 7 years ago. And that was because I knew the first chapter, I knew that I had to get permission first. So I didn't want nobody to be shocked. You know what I mean? And it was only for my parents. It wasn't for no one else. I only asked my mom and dad because I didn't want them to be shocked, you know. So they gave me my lesson, and I didn't ask anybody else about anything else.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Keith, I know that you gotta leave and depart from us today, but before you go, because it's not the end of the show, I do want you to definitely you can have your last question for Anakia, and also your parting words when you depart from the couch today.
I had a couple questions. One was, Sister Keeton, you mentioned the book club. In the book club, read your book already?
Not yet.
Oh, they haven't.
Not yet. We haven't gotten anything together yet. I'm going to set the mass test.
I was interested in one of the some of the content where you guys would be able to where you guys sat down and talked about in the book. That's what I really wanted to ask you that, where that's in the book, something that stands out where you guys were able to sit down, have a conversation about it. It was relevant to everyone, and it spoke to everyone, it touched everyone. That's the part that's what I was looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to it too. So the next time I come on, I'll be able to say, I'm going to tell you, Keith, because I'm looking forward to that as well. My book signing is April 26th. So a lot of people haven't really read it yet, or if they did, we haven't spoken about it yet.
Okay. How do you balance the healing that you've gone through, the healing that you want to continue to give, in addition to working in an environment where you work?
Oh, that's a good question. Listen, where do I start? Let me see. So I work in a prison. The healing, I work in the office, so I'm not really in the mix of inmates. I'm not really in the mix. I'm a jail guard, but I'm really not. You know what I mean? I am, but I don't have to really deal with their traumas and their issues and stuff like that. I get to use my brain. I sit at a desk at a computer, and I get to feel like I'm somebody versus just constantly telling people, don't do this, don't do that. Sit here, sit down, stand up. You know, I don't have to go through all of that. So I don't even put myself in that situation where I have to deal with anybody. I kind of like sit to myself and better myself. I'm selfish. I'm selfish. So, but that is a good question. As far as like healing and my journey of healing, I do know this. Like when I became a widow, this young lady that worked with me, she called me and she said, listen, I have a young lady I need you to speak to because she lost her husband. She was taking her husband to his surprise 40th birthday party, and everybody was from different states, and they were there to visit at the party, and she was driving him, and she had to hurry up and detour to go to the ER because he had a heart attack in the car. He never even made it to 40th. He passed away.
Yeah.
And this lady is broken up, and I said, I cannot help her. I'm broken myself. I listen. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And she kept calling me, and God said, "Get up and go. Get up and go." And I said, "I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it." And I wasn't healing. At that point, I was still sitting on my couch and couldn't get up.
Yeah.
God said, "Get up, get up." So I did. I said, "Okay, I don't know." I just got up. I went. And I went and spoke to this lady. I said, make sure you have a journal. Make sure, because I'm all about that. Just write journals. Just keep it down. Because that way you can go back and see where your healing is. You'll see where you actually hit that milestone. If you just write, because that's memories. That's your truth. Your truth, not someone else's. So I said, make sure you have your journal. So I get there and we're speaking, and she's broken. And I saw me inside of her, and I'm like, I can't break with her. I have to be strong for her. She needs me. And when I got done, I said, listen, I'm going to continue to work with you in 1 year from now. We're going to go back through that journal and you're going to see your growth. I promise you. She says, no. She just couldn't understand it. So as I kept meeting with her, I said, you're going to see your change, and you're going to know when. But when I left her house, I felt so guilty because I felt my healing. I felt me feeling better with helping her. So God sent me to her for her to help me help her.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's where my journey began, as far as really pouring out to others and helping other people. When you lend a helping hand and you help others, you'll be surprised how good you feel. And it shouldn't make you. I did feel guilty. I'm not going to tell you shouldn't, but I did. I felt guilty because I didn't understand why I was feeling so much better from talking to her and hearing her story, because somebody's always worse off than you are.
But that's what self-help is. That's what the model of self-help is. You have NA, AA, GA, all of that. Right. It's just that as people of color, we don't tap in.
Right.
Only time we tap in, and it's sad to say, is that working in, with MAP, parole, probation, they'll come and say, oh, I'm so glad I met you as my therapist. Oh my gosh. Oh, I said, see, it wasn't that bad. I said, I work for you, not for the state.
Right.
I work for you. So if you come here, I don't got to tell everything. If your urine is hot, I don't got to tell you. Now, if you don't come to the appointment, then I can do that. But they didn't understand. So that's where now you just confirm that for the masses. It's free. You can create your own self-help. You can create your own group of people, of like-minded folks. And that's the part that Black and brown people miss out on. Right. You just felt what it feels like to transfer energy and to heal through some other story, because guess what? It acknowledged what I went through. I am not alone. Right. I am not alone.
Right.
I mean, you can say that you are not alone. There are other people, and there's someone here that concurs with you today.
Right.
So this is what this is, and our steps are definitely ordered. And sometimes we just have to sit back and say less, because again, confirmation is you're talking because you want someone else to feel what you're feeling.
Right.
But you're not alone. And we have to vet ideas.
Right. Right.
And I see your daughter, Ray Brown's. I'm so proud of you, Mom.
Oh.
And doesn't that make you feel good? You're healing today through this. And I think everyone here who's listening and has a similar story is healing on the couch today with us.
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah. Keith, is there anything else? You have another question?
No,
and I think Mark has one too.
No, I don't have a question, but just thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your story. No one wants to go through a process, of what you had gone through. No one asked for that. But I want to say thank you for having enough courage to come out, having enough courage to seek the help that you needed and that you're aware enough. I think the awareness is the important part, that you're aware enough to know I need to go get help because I know I'm valued. I have value. God didn't put me on this earth. My belief is God doesn't create anyone without a purpose.
Absolutely.
And you have purpose, and you found your purpose by losing yourself and servicing others. So thank you, Sister Keeton, for having the courage to write the book, not worrying about your family members, what they have to say,
Right.
stepping out. And I know for certain, and there's the other therapists on here, that you are helping others. And this story, not just your story, but story of narcissists, the impact that it has on other people, the domino impact that it has on family members. It needs to be heard. When you had a moment earlier, I specifically thought about men. Men are physical. We are visual. I'm sorry. And for us to know, a man to know what I could potentially be doing to hurt my sister, is impactful, versus being in the moment and acting out as a narcissist, but them being able to see the impact that it has on someone that I'm not attached to. Right. I think is important. So as they were sharing, being open that this is a safe place, I think it's important that you continue to be you. And again, thank you.
Thank you.
That was
awesome.
Pretty much it. So I appreciate you guys, and Dr. April and everyone. Love you, and
we'll see you soon. Okay, yes. See you soon. Have a good afternoon. You Mark, too. I'm gonna give you the floor because I know you have some questions ready to go.
Great show. Loving that dog there and everything.
You have to have dogs. I'm telling you. This is
Toya, hold on, because Mark was talking. We're not done yet.
Sorry, Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, both dogs trying to steal the show. There ain't nothing wrong with that and everything. I do have a question. How do you balance working in a very difficult industry? Because there's this whole notion of the school to prison pipeline and all along those lines. I just wonder your thoughts on that and whether you are able to bring your empathy into the whole discussion around that discussion as well. Because definitely I know that that's something that people in the prison system have to deal with, that whole conversation around the school to prison pipeline.
I still speak my truth even at work. And like I said, I sit in the office, so I limit myself to whom I could feel the energy. If it doesn't feel right, I keep walking. If I could feel if somebody's if they're broken, and I speak encouraging words, and then I just keep walking. If I come out, sometimes I don't come out of my office all day until it's time to go home. I just take day by day, and if somebody needs me, they call me or they come in there. It's a balance because I've been doing it for so long. I'm retiring in next year, so I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down because my purpose, I'm walking in it right now.
You are. I'm going to read some more comments for you. Clemise Bay is I believe is your niece. It
my
looks
niece.
Like here.
Yes.
She said, well, I'm shocked being as though she raised me briefly. My aunt has bloomed into an awesome flower. We never seen this coming. However, we are all for her, and I am her #1 fan.
Yeah, thank you. And
she's good.
Listen, Clemise, I love you. She calls me all the time. And sorry, Clemise. She's in a book too. You're gonna. She's in a book too. She always calls me. Not right now, Liv. She always calls me, and we talk about my second book. She gives me input. We discuss. We have discussions, her and I, and she gives me insight. I love my niece, and they know I love all of my family. And I said enough. Thank you. I love my family, and I appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Clemise.
So you have Naya Barr. I don't have a question, but I wanted to say how proud I am of Anika. She has been such an amazing blessing in my life, and I truly appreciate and value her. Okay. And then yes, Ray Brown. And she said, so proud of you, Mom, as Toya did read that one. And Vera Williams, it says, so proud of you, my sister. Keep on this positive journey. Love, Liz Watson. So that's very encouraging. And it's awesome that you do have a great fan base, family, friends, all those that supported you and still supporting you. And when you said earlier that family, is not always, they can show their true colors when you're trying to do your best for yourself. And to me, it's not a good thing, because it's like, what is the misunderstanding here? If we are sharing the same blood, why is it that you respond in such a way, whereas lack of courage instead of encouragement? So I look at, what is the long-term problem that you keep carrying with you, and then you want to inflict it on to the next person, because that's what's happening. It is their feelings about themselves, and then they inflict it onto you. But what happened for you throughout your experiences, you had an awakening of knowing thyself, and they don't know thyself. So because of that reason is why you're standing in a sense of power that they are trying to figure out, how did she really get there, instead of asking you. They rather hate on you. You can't do that. You have to ask. And that person that you're asking this to will tell you, these are my steps, but it doesn't mean your steps are ordained the same way. And I'm just saying this for family in general. When you meet friends or associates, that's a little different. Those conversations are different, because you have no stake in that relationship as of yet, because you don't know who these people are, because you're getting to know them. But when I heard you say that, I think that's just a common theme in African American families. It is a very common theme, and it's unfortunate. Am I wrong, you all? This is where you can, Mark, what do you think? Before we have Anika answer this question, what do you think about that?
I didn't catch that question. What was the question again? I'm sorry about that.
Well, the question is, my comment was about just family in general, right? The responses that she had when she spoke earlier about, she find that her family will hate on her more than a stranger would, like less encouragement from family and more encouragement from strangers. So do you feel that that is a common theme amongst African Americans and possibly other people of color?
Well, I can't say that that's a thing for me, because my family is very much involved in some positive activities and all along those lines. So it's not a thing with us, but I can't speak for other families and everything like that. But in my family, it is not a big issue, because we actually support each other and support each other regularly and all along those lines. Because, like I said, my brother has actually got MS, and he actually just put on Facebook a videotape talking about his MS struggle, and got a lot of support from our family members as well as others also. So it's something that I come from a strong family and a family that's very supportive. Now, there are some families out there, and I'd be lying if I said there weren't, that aren't as supportive as they should be, and all in that space. But definitely, I have a very strong family, and that's something that we've got going on that is supportive. But I do know that there's some people that have broken families, and sometimes those families aren't as supportive, and we've also got some family members that will drag you down and everything like that. So there are some family members out there, and some people that are in toxic families, for lack of a better term. And sometimes you got to be aware of those. I've been fortunate to be in a loving family and not a toxic family, but I have friends that are in this toxic environment.
Amen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to jump in also. I agree with that. I have a large family, but it seemed like it's small. And what I think that is because the matriarchs and patriarchs are no longer here, because, the big mama and pop would keep everything in line.
Yes.
So now for my family to be so big, it seems so small. I was actually having a conversation with my little sister last week about that. And she said, you know, I just want family. I said, you know what? You don't have to listen to me. We're all 5 years apart. I said, but I was looking for something and finally had to accept I'm not going to get what I'm looking for. The love may come from where you don't know where it's going to come from. And it was a little disappointing. However, my healing has said I can't be looking for something that I'm not going to get. What's the definition of insanity? You keep doing the same thing over and over and think you're going to get the different results. I don't think I'm insane.
Right.
I just know that I want something of love. And sometimes you get it extended somewhere else. I know that I continue to reach out because of where I came from, nothing. So I thought that it was going to be different, but now that I have been working on acceptance daily, I'm not disappointed. All I can do is approach you, attempt to reach out, but then I say, okay, I'll leave you there. So what I call is a timeout. When I have an argument with someone, put them in a timeout, because guess what? What you're going through is not for me. I can't understand why you're treating me this way. All I can do is continue to love on you. Now, if you're not going to receive the love, guess what? I'm not going to beat myself up like I used to. I'm going to walk away, continue to love on me, and surround myself with people who genuinely love me. That's it. And I think, Anakia, you spoke about that. And once I've accepted that, I'm doing better, because that I feel that was the catalyst for me to feel bad, to feel that I am less, I'm not worthy. So thank you today for sharing that with us today. Love on you, be a little selfish. And all I've been doing is a little bit selfish. So now when I love on me more, then that's going to open the door for someone to love me the right way, right? Because when you look and get those crumbs from those narcissists or whomever is not loving on you correctly, family, friends, that's when we get into that hole and we're upset, we're depressed. We feel that there's no one there. But all I know, I said, and I'm going to just be blatant, why am I going to try to hurt myself? Because everything that I'm paying for, that policy won't pay my beneficiaries. And I had to be funny like that just to make some humor out of it. Why am I going to hurt myself? Because everything that I paid for, my kid won't get, and I'm going to be a grandma this year. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I had to put it in that way of an affirmation daily. I read a book, Be Still and Know. I love that. Every day when I read the Bible verse, it goes into an anecdote and it has a prayer. And on most days, what I'm reading, it applies to me. That's 365 days. And I've been reading this book for 3 years. And it seems that every time I read it, I get something from it. So that's what it is.
Nice.
Loving oneself and knowing that sometimes what we're looking for, we may not get it. And when I don't get it, it's not me. You're missing out on the love I got. I got a big old heart.
Listen, I'm because you said the crumbs. This is what I said. All the little crumbs you gave me, I made a big sandwich out of it. I ate it. Now I spit it out. You can have it.
That's you gaining your power too. That's your power coming back to you once you look at it that way.
Right.
Yes. That's very awesome. Quickly to the comments. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mark. No problem.
I just had a quick question for April and Toya, which they got your show on TV now. So I just want to know when they're going to be ready to have their shows on the network and everything along those lines. Because I think it's about time for both of them to have a regular podcast on the network. So I just want to know when they're going to be ready.
Listen,
you know what, Mark? I'm ready now.
Pressure. What is it called? Pressure is a privilege. Pressure is a privilege.
Pressure makes pearls.
There you go. So listen, I'm ready. I got a name and everything. When we doing this, when are we doing? Let me get you.
Mark is the producer. Mark, you got to talk to me and Anakia so we can do our spinoff. Okay, Mark?
Yes.
I have everything. I just I needed like a month and a half because you know why, April, I got to close out a task.
I need an hour and I'm ready.
All right.
Pressure is a privilege.
You see this?
Dr. Diamond, give me his information when we come off.
Yes, I will. Yeah, just you know what, you can hang on at the end, when we're off for the show, hang on at the end. But this is good. And Mark, good. That's right. Catch us out there.
Thank you. He's like the big brother.
Okay,
The big
we're
brother.
gonna do this. Toya, listen, I got
Yes,
you.
I'm down. The butterfly room. It's the butterfly room.
Absolutely. And we got Dr.
This
Diamond.
is good. I love this, ladies.
We got
Yes,
this.
we have to really push each other. And
And
April, we get on the phone and then it is what it is. But
right.
Oh, thank you, God. I just thank God daily for this.
This is
seriously.
What I say. If you're comfortable, you ain't growing. If you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Right. Complacency.
You better say it. I have a minister that we're like best friends. My brother, my confidant. I call him and say, let's pray. I gotta pray. I need you to pray for me. I need this, I need that. He said, Neat, Tag, you always got something going on. You never let grass grow under your feet. You're not supposed to. Keep it moving. Yeah. When you're comfortable, you're not growing. You can't sit down. When you sit on the couch, we're on the couch right now. When we get up, we're going to be stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure is a privilege.
Amen.
Yes.
Can't even do that. Some people can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Resiliency. What it is we're resilient. And that's what it was. I saw that down in Mississippi every summer doing stuff, but that's why I'm different and I'm embracing the difference. And I thank you all. You have every guest that we have is confirmation that this is really what it is.
Yes. Yes.
And we genuinely want to support each other.
So I'm gonna go to the comments, and we have Crystal Rowley, I believe.
Oh, my Marlon bestie. I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay, this is good. This is just the beginning, Nika. It's only up from here. So as you're moving along, like you said, no grass is growing under your feet. Keep going. Renee Lang, I'm here, sister. Just don't know how to do video. That's what she said. So, and then we're going to move down to Vera Williams. I am one of my sister's biggest supporters, and I'm so proud of you, my sister Anika. Keep being an inspiration for others. Love you so much. And then Martha says up. So you are going up. So again, you have all of these confirmation behind you. And, you know, you again, I thank you for coming on last minute, really. And I think it was just beneficial because this is something that Anika wants to do in the future, you all. Mm-hmm. And I gave her the opportunity to come on to even get a feel of it because you got to touch something to understand if you can do it.
Right.
So, and I said to her, I said, you don't have to necessarily run out of the gate. Just say, well, I'm about to do this podcast. And then again, you're like, what is the outcome going to be? What is this going to be like? So I kind of walked her through it. And I said, you know what? You're welcome to pop in when you want to, because I know she's a busy person outside of here, outside of this podcast and doing other things. So I said, listen, you hit me up and say, hey, what are y'all doing? Are y'all on this weekend? Because I'm going to pop in. And I think having that experience or giving her the opportunity to come in and out and understanding how she's going to do it, this is where she's going to jump up and go up even more because she has the opportunity and feel what it's like. So do I wish you well to your up and coming podcast when you get it up and running? Absolutely. Are you welcome on to this show? Absolutely. Your growth is important. And as we get older and mature in this life, we are here to learn and teach others. And that's what I learned throughout my lifetime, being here on this earth. And my husband always say this, he goes, well, what you going to put in the dash? You know, because you got your sunrise, right? But what about the dash in between? What are you putting in between? Right. So that's the thing. What are you doing in between? So we just got to remember that too. And then also remember that God is on our side and he gives us our assignments. And we have to listen to what our assignments are, follow them, and do the best that we can with them. He knows that we're imperfect, so we're not going to be perfect at all when we're doing what we're doing, but at least try your best to follow the assignment that he's putting you on, and then you'll know when your time is done, you know, because you know when you're moving from one season to the next. So that's just what I wanted to say to you, Anika. So we're getting closest to the end of our show. So what I would like everyone to do, and Anika, you will be right before me, is the takeaway from what we talked about today, which is you, young lady, and God's grace in the shadow of love. I'm gonna go ahead and start with you, Toya. What? Oh, Mark, go ahead. I saw
Yeah,
his finger go up.
yeah. I was
Gotta catch
getting
them.
ready, got some other things I
Yeah,
got
I
to get
gotta.
over here in the
Yeah.
culture center and everything, but I was going to say that she is a natural, meaning that Miss Keaton is a natural. I can already tell that from the show and all along those lines. So I'm looking forward to a great conversation about things that will be done. And it was definitely hearing a great story of a survivor, because a lot of times we don't hear those stories of the survivors and all along those lines. So it's good to hear the
Thank
story of
you.
the survivor, and I look forward to hearing her give great advice to others so that they can join that survivor journey and all along those lines. Because as I've said on the show before, there's all kinds of things that we go through. We go through people that are going through emotional pain, physical pain, and definitely mental pain. Because definitely when you think about that journey, that's one that we've all gone through, no matter how old you are, no matter where you are in status in life or careers and everything. So I'm one of those people that believe in us trying to be as healthy as we can on all aspects of our life, meaning the emotional, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. I think of more spiritual than religious, so I see myself more of a spiritual being than a religious being. But I think that you have to have alignment in all of those. So that's what I will leave us with, is having that alignment. And it looks like Ms. Keaton has got that total alignment and all along those lines, or at least she's working on it, which is a work in progress for us all. We all are never perfect. I mean, there's only been maybe one or two perfect people in life and everything like that, and Jesus being one of them. But there's not. We are all striving for perfection and striving to be the best that we can be. And I'll just leave us at that. But then we need to work on all of our aspects. I mean, in all aspects of ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Toya.
And I wanted to thank you for being so transparent today. And as long as we always say, as long as we touch one, then we did our job, because we have a playback. So now you're in our airways and you're going to get more feedback. We're also on YouTube, so you can just check and see, because I know that we have to vet what we're doing. And right now, I think that, we all agree today that there is a story in each and every one of us, but we just have to have the courage to share it. And I thank you for your information that you shared, because it's also helping me to know that I am on the right path.
Yes.
And in reference to family, sometimes it's not about them, it's about you.
Right.
And sometimes it is uncomfortable for us to accept certain things. But I know, and I always say, if God brings you to it, he's going to bring you through it. And that's what he did for you today,
Yes.
Anika. And there were some points where you were unable to get there, but you got there.
Right.
And you gave a lot of tools, and we know that your next book is going to be phenomenal. I'm waiting. I want to get the information so I can the link so that I can purchase it. Because I would love to see that and also be part of your book club, because we are all here.
Yes.
And we have a common goal. And on the couch, we're going to bring it to you, rugged and raw.
Yes.
But it's going to heal you by the end. And I think by the comments that we see here today, this is what it's going to be. And you're going to have greatness after this.
Thank
And
you.
that's all that I have for today. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with you in the future.
Yes. Oh, God is so good. Thank you so much, Toya.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mark. I greatly appreciate it. And I thank you so much, Dr. April, Dr. Diamond. Listen, we are locked in. I just want to say to all my listeners, I love you all. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for your support. That's very important. Support is important. If you want to get my book, it's on Amazon. It's God's Grace in the Shadow of Love. My biggest takeaway today is that I feel so much better. Like I feel this is my purpose. This platform was so comfortable for me. I feel like I am at home on my couch. And I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. The help, the speaking, the transparency, all of that. I greatly appreciate everybody. I thank y'all. If you want to email me, you can email me, author Anakia Keeton at yahoo.com. You can go to my Facebook page, Anakia Keeton, Nika. But I just want to thank everybody. I thank my mom group. I thank my daughter, both of them. And I just thank my siblings. I thank my cousins, my nieces. I just thank everybody that steps up and pours out into me, because it is important, because you never know what a person is going through. And if you feel like you want to write, everybody has a story. I promise you, your story is going to help someone when you think that it's not. You think that, nobody wants to hear it, but it's the truth. It's not the truth. The truth is your story is your story, and someone else down the street on the other state. Crystal, I love you so much, baby. She's all the way from Maryland. Your story touches someone. I met Crystal last Wednesday or Thursday. I went to Georgia, and we're in class together. She is a chef. She does food, and I do events. Different spectrums, but we have a mentor. Our mentor is the same person. So we went out to Georgia and we did this event. From day one, like, we would go through the chat group and we would speak through text, talk through text or whatever. And I said, I'm getting a rental car. If anyone, somebody want to, need a ride, whatever, you want to go in with me? She said, me. So we kept missing each other because we weren't smart enough to exchange numbers at that moment. We just exchanged emails. So I didn't sleep. I arrived on Wednesday. She arrived on Thursday, but I didn't sleep because I was like, she's going to be at the airport. And I don't want her stuck there. And I got the car and no. So I kept checking. I didn't sleep. I didn't get any sleep. So she finally called me in the morning. I didn't know her number. And something said, just answer. So I answered the phone. Hello. She says, oh, I said, oh, I'm coming. I'm on my way. She says, no. I called an Uber. I said, no, please don't catch your Uber. I feel so bad. From that moment, when I met her, we're like sisters instantly. The same way with you and I, Dr. April, Toya, the same way we connected. Me and Crystal connected that way. We don't even have similar stories, but she can relate to some things in my life. Mm-hmm. You don't know until you start talking. Right. The people share different things. You don't know who you're going to affect until you open your mouth. When my grandmother always told me, unball your fists. Because if you got your fist closed up, you can't nothing come in. You ain't letting nothing go out. Ain't nothing coming in. And I said, oh, from a little girl, I don't even do this. I'm always like this. My hands are open because I want to pour out, because I want to receive. I want to receive, even if it's just a smile on your face, that's still receiving. It doesn't mean monetary. It doesn't mean that I need you to help me or do nothing. That's helping me by me satisfying you, making you happy or helping you. You never know who you're going to help. You don't know who needs you. There's always somebody going through something. So if you feel like you want to help somebody, it's free. Just say, hey, you got this, sis. Yes. Keep walking in your purpose, sis. You don't even know what they're going through, but just by you saying that, they're like, oh my gosh, she saw that. Oh my gosh, she sees me. That's encouraging.
Sometimes it's the feeling. Sometimes it's just a feeling at the time, and we don't know what it is. I thought it was anxiety. No, you're feeling.
It didn't cost you a dime, and people are so selfish. Yeah. I'm selfish too, but I'm not selfish when it comes to encouraging somebody else.
Right.
I pour out into people. That's all you got to do. So if you feel like you got a story, listen here. See this? I got this from Georgia, and I use it. Write. It's a journal. Write. No. Keep writing. Mm-hmm. Writing. Write notes. Write notes. Take notes. Just write. Mm-hmm. Just write. Take notes. Go back. You don't even have to read. It might be months. And then you just say, you know what? I think I got a little something here. And then you're going to add to it. That's all you got to do. That's how you write. You write notes, and then from that,
that's what it was in school. They would tell us about an outline. That's all it is. Outline and points.
Well, and Miss Keeton, it's also about sharing. And once you write those notes and have those there, you hear those stories, because a lot of times we put those stories and then they are there never to be shared again and everything. And sometimes they get lost because they
want to be gatekeepers.
Stories, and then the stories are gone and the people are gone. So be willing to share those stories, no matter what the stories are about, no matter what the pain is, and everything.
Yes.
But definitely to share them.
Yes. And one thing I'm not as a gatekeeper. My husband always told me, "You're an open book." I said, "Yes, I am." Anything you want to know, I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to lie about it. You just want to know.
Yes.
So, you know, if you need help, you can inbox me. Wait, you can email me, because I'm about to say inbox like you on my phone. So you can inbox me, or, you know, email me at author Anakia Keeton, and I'll help you through your way. I have an awesome publisher, an awesome editor. If you need help, I got you. If you need assistance, I got you. We will do this together. I will walk with you. Just write. That's it. Just jot down. Just make notes. I mean, it can't hurt nothing. It ain't nothing but it's going to be help. It's a win-win situation. Healing, everything.
It is definitely a win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
So with saying that, I am the last to say what I need to say. And you three, I'm going to put you in the studio in the back, and I will be right with you guys. And again, we all thank you all for joining us today here on the couch. Anakia Keeton, what a wonderful person. We got an opportunity to meet her, talk to her, understand where she's going, and she poured out who she was and the love of herself. How did she fight back? How she got back to where she was, or where she is presently, and she's willing to take others with her. To get her information, please make sure you follow us on Facebook, and as well as her. You will see her also on Facebook as well, but her link will also be on our Facebook page on the couch. So you'll be able to get her information on how to get her book. What did I get out of today? What I will tell you is that support. We have to support each other even when we're listening to someone. That is a form of support. Just walking with someone throughout their journey, just understanding their journey. Understanding what they bring to you. Their experiences can be very helpful to you. So know that you're going to hear things that can trigger you, but is it triggering you in a good or bad way? And even if it does trigger you, acknowledge the trigger and figure out, how do I utilize this to help me become healthy? So that's what I got out of today, speaking to Anakia today. What a lovely Black woman who is doing some wonderful things. So remember, join us every 2 weeks on the couch. Follow us on Facebook. Also, look us up on YouTube. Look for the notification when we do go live. And we are on at least 7 platforms outside of here on your favorite streaming. So please catch us there as well. And as always, we thank you so much for joining us on the couch. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Do something positive for yourself. Love, peace, love, and tranquility. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Take care of yourselves and each.
Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of On the Couch. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found it as enlightening and inspiring as I did. Remember, the stories and experiences we share here are just the beginning of a much larger journey. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, look for the notification on Facebook, and find us on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps us keep the conversation going and reach more listeners just like you. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep the dialogue alive. Peace, love, and tranquility. Take care, and we'll see you on the couch.